Hello, everybody. Welcome to after we are doing vertical and horizontal asymptotes. I know I had mentioned these before, and so we're going to do part one, which is the instruction. And then, of course, asymptotes part two is going to be the practice. So let's just get started so we can get a better explanation. So what are asymptotes? These are the vertical vertical. Let me rewrite that. Okay. Right? Vertical or horizontal lines that the given graph approaches but never actually touches. So here in this picture here, it is showing that we have a graph that the solid line is the graph that they put on here. Okay, here's the other one. So they entered the equation and it graphed this way. Those two green lines, that's how it graphed. And what we're seeing here, this is a vertical asymptote. See that line, both of these green graphs, both of them, you can see are approaching that line, this vertical line. See how it approaches it, but it never actually touches it, and it will never touch it. It will never even cross it. Okay, so this line here is our vertical asymptote, the vertical line in which the graph never touches. So how do we know how to name it? What is the vertical asymptote here? Well, what you do is that you want to see where it crosses the axis. So this particular line crosses the axis right here at -4. So this is x equals -4. So x equals -4 is the line it does not touch. Okay. At the same time, there is what we call the horizontal asymptote. That's the line that these two green ones will approach, but never, ever touch. You see here how the green line is trying to approach that dotted line. That dotted line, never going to cross it. That dotted line is a horizontal asymptote. So we follow that horizontal line to see where it crosses, right, the y. And it kind of crosses it. Well, it's not at 0. It appears like it's not at 0, but it kind of appears like it's maybe 0.5 or something like that. So we could put that this is y is equal to -0.5. We could put it there if we want, because, you know, here is 1, so it's not -1. So maybe even -0.25. Let's 0.25, like a quarter. And that's the line it's never going to approach, right? And never touch. It'll approach but never touch forever. Let's try another one. Okay, so that we're going to do the vertical asymptote. That's the one that runs up and down. That's this line. All right. Whoops. My line got a little crooked. Let's try that again. Better. Okay. So where does that vertical line actually touch the axis? It touches right here, and it touches the x-axis. So that's why it's x is equal to what? Oh, that's a -3. Right? And so now we're going to do the horizontal, which is right here. And of course, that crosses the y at about here. And that one looks like y is equal to negative, maybe 0.5 this time, like a half. All right. Now we have this graph. This graph only has a vertical asymptote. See, it runs up and down. And it crosses the x-axis right here, which is at -1. So we have x is equal to -1. But the horizontal, there is no horizontal asymptote. So we're going to say none. Next one. This one too is very similar. It doesn't have a horizontal asymptote. It only has the vertical one. Okay, so we're going to put over here none. This one's going to be x equals, and it crosses x at the 2. All right. Oh, this one has 2, so we have a vertical one, and that one touches the x axis. Well, it touches it at -3, right? So this is going to be x equals -3. And then we're going to look at the other one, which is our vertical. It's right here. And that one touches the y at right about there. And that looks like it's about between 0 and 1, so 0.5. Y is equal to 0.5. Okay. Here we are. Again, we have 2 sets right here. We have the vertical, which is our x. And that one touches here at -1. So x equals -1. And the horizontal crosses our y here at 2. So y equals 2. Okay. Now, if you want, you could pause the video and you could try this one on your own and see if you get it right. Okay. So we have a vertical. We have a horizontal. The vertical touches the x at +2, so x equals 2. And the y horizontal touches the y at 0, so this is y equals 0. You could try this one. This has 2 vertical asymptotes and 1 horizontal. Okay, so here's 2. So they're both x's, right? X equals what? Well, it touches x at -3 and also at +3. And then we have one that is horizontal. It's right here. And that's a y equals, and it touches at +3 on the y. Now you could try this one, pause the video and see if you could do this one. This one has 2 vertical, 1 and no horizontal, only vertical in this case, right? So we have 2 vertical. They touch the x at -2 and 3. So x equals -2 and x equals 3. And we're going to put none. There are none. No horizontal asymptotes here. All right. Well, what happens, though, when they give you the equation of the graph, but they don't give you the picture? So what are you going to do? You're going to have to go into the Desmos calculator, and you're going to take this, and you're going to change it into a y. You don't have to. You can type f of x in there if you want. You can also just type in this whole thing as well. It's completely up to you. And once you put number 3 and number 4 in, what's it going to look like? Looks like this. See, I went in and I just put y equals da, 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 and this is what the graph looked like. So once the graph comes up, it's your job to figure out if there are any vertical or horizontal asymptotes. So as we're looking, we can see that this line is approaching right here, but it's never touching. And this line is also approaching the same place, but never touching. So that is one of our vertical asymptotes. We can see that this line here, right, is approaching in here, never quite doing it. This one here is also approaching in here. So that is our another vertical asymptote, but there are no horizontal. So this is going to be, none here. But this is going to be x is equal to -3 and x is equal to 2. And the one on the right, this one has 2 asymptotes. Right here, right? And the other one is here. Okay, so this is going to be the vertical is x is equal to -1, And on the y, it's equal to 0. All right, let's try another one. So here we are. We have both of them. Instead of, trying to figure it out algebraically, we're going to put it in the calculator. Boom, here it is. And we have 2 verticals, 1 horizontal. The one on the right, we have 1 vertical and 1 horizontal. So you could pause the video, write the equations, and come back and see if you got them right. Okay? So the vertical is up and down. It touches x here, which is x is equal to, careful, this is -3, right? They're jumping 2 boxes, this one. So this is -3. And it's also touching here, which is x equals 2. The horizontal touches right here in the center, so that's y equals 0. Here we have x is equal to, careful, these are jumping by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So x equals 4. And we have the horizontal, which looks like right in the middle here. So be careful, because since these are jumping by 2s, right? So this is 10, this is 8, 6, 4, 2, and this would be 0. So between 0 and 2 would be 1. So this would be y equals 1. So be careful when you're doing that. All right, well, that's the end of our lesson on asymptotes. And you will see part 2 in a video, in the next video. All right. Okay, if you have any questions, please come to office hours or send me an email. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.